All right, we're live.
Yay.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to today's virtual write-in. It's the last one of camp, the last one for this month.
Yay.
So
Oh, God.
I know. I always feel like camp months or November, like whenever we're doing a NaNoWriMo event, it just goes so quickly.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the month, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a month. There's so much time. And then at the end of the month, it's like, oh man, where did it all go?
It's all gone. All the time's
No,
just gone now.
no. Cool. Well, thank you everybody for joining today. Feel free. I see some folks in the chat are writing in where they're watching from. A couple of people are saying that they met their goals already, so congratulations.
Ooh, congrats, guys. But also, if you haven't met your goals, fine. Keep writing.
Yeah. I have not met my goal yet. So yeah, if you don't know us, my name is Catherine. I am the communications director at NaNoWriMo. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them.
And I'm Chelsea. I'm the programs associate, and my pronouns are she, they. That's it. That's the intro.
Yeah.
I'm always like, do I forget something from the intro? No, that's it.
Right, I know. Especially at the end of the month, I'm like, okay, my brain, I've used like 98% of my brain power already. Oh, and just a reminder too that for camp, you can change your goal. If you're feeling really daunted, I saw somebody who's like, oh man, only halfway there. If that is like spurring you on to be like, yeah, I really got to write more the last week of camp, then keep it. If it's feeling like, oh my God, I'm never ever going to make that, you can always change it. Or if you're like, ah, yeah, I've already met my goal, that was really easy, then you can also up it if you wanna do that. So just a reminder that during camp you can change your goal.
And also, for another update, even though it's the end of camp, we still have a bunch of events for y'all. So tomorrow we have a webcast with Novelly, I don't know how to say that.
It's Novelly, I think.
Novelly, okay. So yeah, that'll be fun. But we also have a Zoom meetup with the camp counselor, Tracy Badula, on Thursday, pretty sure.
Yeah.
And we also have another Writers of Color meetup on Friday. If you're like, I don't know what dates are, let me link the calendar. And,
yeah, I just put that link in the chat. So all the details are in the calendar link if you want to check those out.
But also, if we have any events on YouTube, you can just subscribe and get notifications.
Yeah. Yay. All right. I think that's our spiel.
Yay.
We've done it. I think we've done the intro. All right. Well, since it is the last week of camp, and I know that some of you are in the same boat I am. We're like, oh man, I need to write a lot this week if I want to make my goal. Should we go ahead and dive into our first writing prompt here?
Yeah, we should.
Right. Yeah. So for the first prompt or first writing sprint. Oh, I knew what I was going to say. If you have not been to one of these before, basically the format is going to be that for the next hour, we're going to be giving writing prompts and doing timed writing sprints together. And we'll also be having some discussion in between of like, if you got questions of stuff that's coming up, or you just want to chat with other writers about how it's going, well, we'll have some time for that. So that's what it's going to look like if you've never been to one of these before. Some of you I know have been to a lot of these before. So you're old pros.
Yeah, but I do see some newcomers, which welcome if you're a newcomer. but welcome back. You're always here.
We always love seeing you guys. Or I guess not seeing, but like seeing your names pop up on the chat. Anyway, for our first writing sprint, it's going to be it's going to be 5 minutes long. And today we're going to be focusing on character connections, and what that looks like in your stories or what you're writing. So the first prompt is just to choose two of your characters and describe the relationship between them. So it could be two main characters or love interests or best friends or enemies or minor characters. It might be fun to choose two characters you haven't thought much yet about how they interact. I don't know. I always think that's fun, kind of like discovering new things about how your story and your characters work. But yeah, just choosing two characters and sort of diving into like what is their relationship to each other. And you don't have to use the prompt if you don't want to. If it doesn't work for you, that's totally fine. But we'll still set a timer for 5 minutes and just try to write as much as you can in those 5 minutes.
Yeah. You can also go more than two if you want. Just make a whole web.
Ooh, I love that.
Okay, but here's the timer, guys. We'll write for 5 minutes, and y'all just until 3:11. Yeah, or not 3:11. Not until 11.
Yes.
Now, time zones, guys. Anyway, have fun.
All right, let's write.
Oh, and welcome back, guys.
Right.
So feel free to leave like your word count or like what maybe you found like discovering your relationships in your writing. Or maybe you just wrote something and even just wrote something. I want to know what you wrote about.
Yeah, I've been looking through some of the goals that people were sharing. And Todd said, my goal was to join one of these virtual events. Goal finally achieved. Yay. Cindy said, I'm behind my goal, hoping to catch up. Sam said, I'm having immense struggle getting my writing project off the ground. I feel like I have zero time to myself and I want to crank that novel out. Yes, that's what we're here for. How'd that prompt go for you, Josie?
Uh, I like that prompt. Like it made me think about because like especially I like to think like most of the relationships from the main character's point of view because obviously they're the point of view character. But then I
Mhm.
like thought more about like the side characters and like what their relationships are with each other. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun actually. It feels more alive when you start connecting like them to each other.
Mhm. Yeah, I like this too because I feel like sometimes it's easy, especially for the like side characters or minor characters, to feel a little flat. So sometimes I'm like I know why they're doing stuff or like how they feel about the other characters. I'm like, oh, makes so much more sense.
Reading the chat, there's some it looks like some of y'all have discovered some new things.
Ooh.
I see Lynette says, I've got a scene with two characters who haven't been on scene together yet. So I'm starting to think there's a basic first meeting attraction. I'm like, oh, that's fun.
It's so much fun. Caitlin says, I wrote about how some older siblings really crave independence after being forced into parental roles as children, but ironically end up relying on each other. That's really good. What a music geek wrote 208 words. It said, my main character was a user in a game her ex developed, and she just found her love interest in the game.
Oh,
Oh, that's so much fun.
um, and I see some people are a little sad about the word count. Don't feel too bad. It's still a word.
Yeah. Literally any words that you wrote that were not written before is
Yeah,
progress.
yeah. Yeah, try not to use like it's only this many words. Congratulate yourself.
I am a slow writer and I tend to do that sometimes where I'm like, oh man, I only wrote this many, but it does add up. I think sometimes it can be easy to get caught up in the like, okay, I just have to reach my goal. And
Yeah.
that really works for some people, or in some circumstances. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, yeah, I just need to get the words down. But I definitely get a little up in my head about it sometimes too. So
Yeah.
ooh, this is a good question from Popcorn. I was trying to figure out what my character's love languages are.
Ooh.
So that's fun. Oh man, I want to add that to like, there are a bunch of like quick character questionnaire sheets. I feel like that should be one of the questions.
Yeah, I'm like, I might think about that later. Actually.
Right? Imagino says, can you get any more convoluted than a couple who are interdimensional versions of the same person?
Hey, but it sounds fun, so that's
Yeah.
what matters. Okay. Um, we did have a question to ask y'all, and okay, I guess it's multiple questions. We're curious. We want to know, what's your favorite character dynamic to read, to write? What's something you find difficult about writing character relationships? It can be about like specific dynamics or like me in general. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about this recently because I shared some pages with my writing group, and there was this like side character who was like the grumpy person who like didn't really want to help the main characters, but like their interests kind of aligned. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna help you anyway, but is still really grumpy about it. And I actually really enjoy writing that. um and just like a kind of a grumpy, sarcastic character who's helpful anyway. Um, so I was thinking about that because I was like, that was a lot of fun to write, and the my friends who read it had a lot of fun reading it. So,
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think what I like. Um, I do like that like grumpy character dynamic, but specifically when it's like a grumpy character who is like forced to like take care of a kid and then you get like attached to them.
yes,
It's like accidentally becomes a parent and it's like they enjoy it actually.
that's really good.
Um,
Pandemio says writing characters that aren't awkward is hard. I don't always know the right words to use.
um, I have that problem with like really smart characters,
Hmm.
and I feel like I have to like pull out like a thesaurus because I'm like they would not talk like me. They would sound smart.
I think you sound smart, but
Oh, thanks. Um,
Sadie says, I love writing characters that feed off of each other's passions and anger. It gets loud and powerful and vulnerable.
ooh.
Reach says, I love writing about real life, specifically memoir.
Caitlin says my favorite to write sibling relationships or love interests are very observant and truly close friends.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really rewarding every time you get like a really close relationship and like they just like build off of each other when you write them. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm. What a Music Geek says, love reading and writing role reversals. That's fun.
Ooh. Ooh, Ellen brings up that it's hard to write dialogue in historical fiction that makes them seem like real people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you would have to like that's a lot of research on its own.
It's so much research. Yeah, to and I don't know, to make it sound accurate to the period, but also like real and relatable to readers reading now.
Yeah.
Um, one of the silliest bits of research that I have done recently is to figure out how you would say Mad Lib in Old or Middle English. So there's that.
I dodged this problem by making up like fantasy world. And they do have other languages, but I also dodged that by just saying they would say something in a different language because I'm not making it up.
Nice. Great. Good dodge.
um, I did see someone ask a question. Oh, from Right Live. Question, got any tips for writing the first interaction between two characters meeting for the first time? Like how much should be shown in their first interaction?
Hmm, that's a good
Um,
question.
hmm. I feel like, okay, it depends on your point of view for
Mm-hmm.
because like if it's just like from one person's point of view, I think it's pretty easy to go like by first impressions only, by like what do they think of them, just by like appearances or like their dialogue. But if it's not like limited point of view, that's a little harder, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it depends on the kind of character dynamic you want to set up too, because I'm thinking
Hmm.
I was just reading like a very cute romance novel, and like one of the things that often happens in that genre is like the meet cute of like that's just one in particular where it's like the first time that the love interests meet. Often there's some kind of contention that happens because they have to like overcome that later in the story. But I think thinking about how, yeah, what you want that dynamic to be and to look like, because if it's they're gonna really butt heads about something, then want to show like a little more like action, or that like kind of fiery dialogue going back and forth that I think somebody in the chat was talking about. So
Yeah, I think it's the reaction. Like, what are they reacting to, basically?
it's a great question though. If anybody has any tips for that, feel free to put them in the chat.
Mm.
All right. Should we move on to another writing prompt here?
Yeah.
Great.
Okay. So our second prompt, if I can find it in my mountain of pages.
So many tabs.
Okay, here it is. So for this prompt, write a scene where one character is trying to find another character. What makes your character think about the other person, even when that person's not present? Why are they trying to find that person, and how do they feel about them?
Yeah. So I think this one's going to be 10 minutes long. And again, if the prompt doesn't work for you, you don't have to use it. But it's there to spark some inspiration if that works for you.
Okay, so 10 minutes, and we write till 35.
Great.
Oh, welcome back, guys.
Right.
Feel free to leave your word count in the chat or how many words you did, what you did, a snippet.
Yeah. I was like deep in writing brain there for a second.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I need to get out.
Yeah. I was thinking about this one. I've been, because what the story that I've been working on, it's like the kind of the love interest gets kidnapped and the main character has to go and try to like save him. Um, and I was writing the other day and I realized it's been like 4 chapters since we've actually seen the love interest. I'm like, wait, okay, so how do I actually like keep this relationship alive on the page if the other person is not even there? So that's what I was thinking about.
Uh, yeah, like I kind of have a similar thing because like in my main novel project, the whole plot is like someone looking for their best friend, except like she's gone like the entire. So I was like more thinking about that, like um, and like how to like utilize like maybe flashbacks or like how does the pro tag like think about her friend.
Hmm.
So kind of using the prop, kind of not.
I think that counts. Owen says, "Oh, great. My main character's love interest went to go look for him when he was late getting home from work. Now he's home and she's not. I'll have to figure that one out."
Oh no, a classic. Um, I like seeing everyone being like, I was also demon writing, or I was thinking a lot. Honestly, I guess it's like I think thinking about writing should count as writing sometimes.
Totally. Yes.
So
Sometimes you just have to turn it over in your mind for a little while before you actually get to the point where you're like, okay, now I
yeah.
know what I want to write down on the page. Ooh, Barbara wrote 334 words setting the scene for getting the directions in a saloon.
Ooh,
A good saloon.
good old saloon. Um, Caitlin says, kind of dark, but the narrator found a child who can't speak, and they're trying to find their parent without having a clue who they're looking for, knowing that finding the wrong person's dangerous. Ooh. And you have the limitation of like someone who can't speak, so it's like that's fun.
Yeah, that's really good. I sometimes like really enjoy or like find it really satisfying to write with those kinds of limitations. If you can't like kind of fall back on what you would normally, show in dialogue, like how do you show that? I think is really, really cool and really interesting.
Grace says, I'm completely rewriting a character introduction because the scene in my first draft was unfortunate. You know, I have that too. Like, I have really bad character introductions. It's fine. No one's gonna read it.
Yeah, the story that I'm working on now, I just like had to go back and just totally rip apart and redo the first like 50 pages. It's like, okay, I'm glad I wrote it because I had to get to the point where I'm like, okay, now I actually know who these characters are. But
Yeah, yeah. I like the first draft just for like figuring out things. And second draft. And the third draft.
yeah, all the drafts. I feel like eventually you just get to a point where you're like, well, I'm not gonna fix it anymore.
Okay. Um, so for the discussion topic, it's not really a topic. I wanted to have some fun
Yes.
since the end of camp. So we'll play a little game of Would You Rather.
Love this.
I guess it's kind of in theme because it's about you and your characters. So, would you rather be stuck in an elevator with your main character's best friend or their mentor figure? Um, that's kind of vague. Mentor figure can be whoever, but it's like it could be like a parent or something, an old wizard. I don't know.
Oh, I like that. I think I would go with my main character's best friend. Actually, the best friend and the mentor figure are both like really into music, so they would both probably just like talk my ear off about like some obscure band.
Um, I do best friend because he like he's like a tinker, so I feel like he can get us out of the elevator because I don't really want to be in the elevator.
That's great.
Also, if you only give why, it would be cool, but also I don't know your characters, so you don't have to. That could be kind of long.
Mhm. Ooh, Ellen says, for me, it would easily be the mentor figure. He's crucial to the story. The best friend might not make the revisions cut.
Whoa,
Ah.
interesting. Not the cutting board. No. It looks like best friends winning right now, which makes sense because like
Mhm.
I feel like best friends usually just have good vibes.
Grace says, my main character's uncle is honestly the most likable character in the story, and I'm way too mean to him. Nice.
So next one. Okay, would you rather go camping with the main character or the antagonist? If you're like, why would I go camping with an antagonist? I don't know. Maybe you want to feed them to the bear. That's about time.
I think I actually would go camping with the antagonist of my story because the antagonist is like a very powerful fairy, and I feel like camping would be really interesting with them. Also, my main character like does not go camping a lot, so like I don't think she'd know what to do.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like I was my antagonist. Like, since she's from like that fantasy, like wilderness setting, I'm like, okay, she know what to do. She also has like fire magic. So like we'll never like freeze. I don't think my main character will like she knows some stuff, but it won't be helpful. We'll both be lost, and then we'll both like be like we both can't like Google because we're in the woods, so we're both gone.
Oh no. Oh my gosh, Barbara says the main character as the antagonist is cholera and death. Yeah, I would not want to go camping with those either. Love this. Jet says my antagonist is flawed and complex. I definitely go camping with him. I love the idea of just like you sitting across the campfire and being like, "So, tell me about your backstory."
um, Rad Boy Genius is definitely an antagonist. Main character's um occasion to go camping at one point, and he is annoyingly miserable.
T. Geddes says the antagonist. He's actually not a bad guy. If anything, he gets shafted. My heroine would be useless, and my hero is too stubborn.
Oh no. I like Grace. It's hard because both my MC and my antagonists really need to chill. So I think they should both go camping, just not together.
I do love that though sometimes when like I have seen like stories or TV shows where like the main character and the antagonist do go camping together and then they like find out they have something in common.
They're just stuck together, and you're like, oh man. Uh, okay, so I'm surprised to see all these antagonist answers, but
I love it.
okay, last one. So, would you rather live in the world of your characters or have them transported to our world? If it's a modern setting, I'm sorry, because that's like the same thing basically. But
Yeah, mine's like mostly modern, except magic is real, but it's not nice magic. So
mm,
honestly, I don't know. There is that part of me that's like, I just want magic to be real, but then I'm like, I wouldn't actually want to meet these kinds of fairies, you know?
um, I think it's funny for me because I feel like the ones that like grew up with magic and stuff, like they actually would want to like live our like normal lives because it's all chill without like scary monsters and stuff. I
Hmm.
mean, they'll deal with other problems, but
Right.
no monsters. Well, real ones, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Metaphorical ones. They still out there.
Sometimes I think too about like you know, a lot of the things that happen in magic, it's like we do with technology, and like would
Yeah.
those characters see it as magic? Like, oh my God, you can just walk into a room and like the lights automatically come on. You know? Ooh, Caitlin says this is such a complex question for me. The fantasy world, which is also the modern world, doesn't necessarily add anything, but it would mean that my character wouldn't necessarily be born or even happy.
Oh. Um, Ellen says, I would rather go to their world than have them mine. They would be tragically misunderstood in this day and age.
Oh no.
Um, Grace says, I'd want them transported to our world because the magic system's a nightmare to deal with. Honestly, kudos to anyone who made like a really good magic system because mine, I hand wave a lot of things. I
Mm.
have rules, but I don't think about it too much.
CV394 is says, well, Tony Stark lives in New York City, and which is my favorite place on Earth. So I'd say I'd live in the MCU. Which is great. But I also think like, man, how many times does New York City get destroyed in the MCU? It's like, oh, another alien invasion.
Well, I guess it helps that like a lot of heroes live in that New York, so you're
That
always
is true.
saved.
That is true. Yeah.
Like it'd suck if you lived in like I don't know in Arizona. Like there's no heroes in Arizona.
Oh no.
I'm sorry to anyone from Arizona. That was the first state I thought.
But you might be like watching the news and be like, oh man, I'm really glad we don't live there. Wasn't crushed by a train that somebody threw across the city today. Amy says, definitely my character's world. They found magic in their creepy old school. So fun.
Lewis says, I don't know if I could deal with 17th century plumbing.
Real.
You know, true, true, very true.
All right. Should we move on to our last sprint here?
Yeah, that was fun.
That
This
was fun.
prompt's
Thank you
not
for
as
putting that
fun.
together.
Okay. This prompt might not be as fun, but it's okay. You y'all can ignore it. So for this prompt, write a scene where one character is giving comfort to another character. Does the character giving comfort know what they're doing, or are they completely lost? What comfort methods do they attempt to use? How does the other character react? Do the two get closer from the series, or do things get awkward?
Love this. Cool. Yeah, so let's go 10 minutes with this one again.
Yeah, so right at 59.
Great.
Okay. Have fun, y'all. And that's time. Feel free to leave your final word count or a snippet of how that went for y'all. I hope everyone had a productive writing sprint.
Saw a few people are saying that it was helpful, so I'm really glad about that. It's definitely helpful for me. I always love these. But yeah, I think this is the last one we're going to be doing for a little while, because we're coming up to the end of camp here. But as we mentioned earlier, we've got some other events coming up. So again, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel, you'll see when we put new live streams and video up on YouTube, and I'll drop the events calendar link in the chat again as well, in case anybody wants to check out some of the other stuff we got going on.
Yeah, and make sure y'all keep updating word count. Remember, you can always adjust your word goal if needed. And if you already won camp, make sure you claim your winner goodies if you haven't already.
Yeah, got some sponsor offers and a certificate you can print out, and some social media badges you can share. So fun stuff. Oh, nice. Man, we got some good word counts here. I love seeing the total words that people wrote, because sometimes when you're in it, you're like, oh, I only wrote 200 words during that sprint or whatever, and then at the end you're like, wow, I wrote like 600 words.
Yeah, I like Reese comment. I love knowing other people write the same time as me. I think that's the fun part of this.
Mm-hmm.
We're all writing together.
Yeah. Great. Well, I am so happy that this was helpful for folks, and yeah, if you want to do a little bit more, yeah, we got the Novelty webcast tomorrow on YouTube, which is there's going to be a panel of young writers talking about their process, which is interesting. And then Thursday over on Zoom, we'll be chatting with our camp counselor, and she'll have a writing prompt or two for you as well. So, all right, cool. Well, I think that's it for us for
Yeah.
today. So yeah, keep writing, keep working toward those goals, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank y'all guys. Keep writing.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Yes.